This is the nation's #1 talk, news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios here in Itami and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. This is Hard Facts, the abridged version, obviously. We have 1 hour on the show today, and someone is in town, decided to grace us with his presence live in the studio. I'll let the cat out of the bag in a few minutes, but as usual, we're going to be looking at some headlines today. And of course, I did talk about the fact that the Senate just resumed. The electoral bill has been before the Senate, the House of Assembly had ratified before they moved on to their Christmas holiday. But the Senate has now constituted a committee which somewhat has confirmed the fears of many people that there's a dilly-dallying around this, bill. Because you see, Nigerians are pushing that this bill be passed so that it would make INEC's job easy come 2027. Well, that and many more are the stories that we're going to be looking at on the show today. So welcome, and this is how we welcome you.
Get ready for the most important news of the day. It's time for the Big Three Stories on Hard Facts. Tune in to our primetime show for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on the top stories, making headlines. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, we bring you the facts you need to know. Join us as we delve into the biggest stories shaping our world today. Tune in to the Big Three every weekday, 3 to 4 p.m. and stay informed with the news that matters the most. Hard Facts, where the truth always comes first.
Understanding Nigeria starts with asking better questions. Hard Facts on Nigeria Info, the nation's #1 talk, news and sports radio station. Let's talk.
Well, these are the stories we're looking at today on Hard Facts. Let's start with the Senate. From Premium Times newspaper, the Senate constitutes committee to harmonize views on Electoral Act amendment. Well, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, has set up an ad hoc committee to harmonize senators' views on some contentious clauses in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The senators on Thursday disagreed over some provisions of the proposed amendment to the Electoral Act, prompting the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, to constitute an ad hoc committee to resolve the contentious clauses. The ad hoc panel is chaired by Ondo Central Senator Adeni Adegbomire. Sorry, sir. Its members are Aminu Tambuwal Sakwato, Adams Oshomole Edo, Danju Magoje Gombe, Tony Nwoye Anambra, and Titus Zam Benue State. The clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, will serve as secretary. And we hear that the committee was constituted following the divisions among lawmakers during the deliberations on the amendment bill prepared by the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters. Mr. Akpabio directed them to harmonize their differing positions and presented its report on Tuesday for final consideration. He said, and I quote, "The Senate has set up small committees to further make contributions, galvanize, distill, and put all the options of distinguished senators together and present them to us for a final deliberation on Tuesday." That's one story. Let's still staying with the Senate. Senator Ningi has raised an alarm over the strikes that was conducted by President Donald Trump of the United States in Sokoto, and continuously questioned if the Nigerian government was truly carried along. Aside from the federal government, he's talking about the National Assembly. Take a listen, and when we come back, we'll take some more stories. Here is Senator Ningi. I think this video is courtesy of Arise Television.
We need an explanation on that. Second, conceding that the federal executive are informed, that means the presidency and his team.
Right.
We have a doubt. When the strike took place, the Minister of Information came out with a statement. The Minister of Foreign Affairs also came out with a statement.
Where he said Nigerian authorities they worked hand in hand. They were informed. They provided intel that the U.S. used in carrying out the strike.
And that is the crux of the matter. There is nowhere that the Constitution permits the Federal Executive Council, the President himself, in alliance with a foreign power, to take a hit into Nigeria, outside the Nigerian territory. What the presidency ought to have done and ought to agree is that there should be an arrangement of alliance between the American forces and our local forces, and the hit and the strike, if it is necessary to take place, it ought to have taken place within the Nigerian territory. And if there is this reasoning that this strike took place on the sea, we also have territorial waters.
Right.
You can take this hit, we have territorial waters, and even as you are doing that, the National Assembly is not an appendix. And that's why I took time to write about the issue of Section 4 of the Constitution, which makes the National Assembly a co-partner in governance.
Right.
A co-partner in responsibility, in accountability. The executive have two elected officials, the president and the vice president. The entire membership of the National Assembly, 109, 360, are elected representatives of the people that should be accountable to the people. So if you don't do that on behalf of the nation without carrying the National Assembly, you don't need to carry everybody. But at every given time, when there is that assumption that there should be this, the leadership of the National Assembly must be informed, because the only difference between military and democracy is the existence of the legislature. And
well, that's Senator Ningi there representing, I think, Sokoto, if I'm not mistaken, under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, saying that these U.S. airstrikes were carried out without the Senate's knowledge. Don't forget, when Nigerians raised alarm, the Senate said that, oh, yes, we knew about it. Nah, we were informed. Well, this is the Senator of the Federal Republic saying he was not informed. He wasn't part of those who were in the know. And I remember a clip of him challenging this in the National Assembly. And the Senate president said, oh, that he would be briefed in private, behind closed doors. I guess that the briefing didn't go down well with him. He had to come out to the public to speak about it. Here's my last story, and then would go into other matters. Well, the former pension boss, Maina, back in the news. There's been an investigation by Premium Times newspaper saying that he bought U.S. properties before the money laundering conviction. Nigeria's anti-graft agency EFCC, which successfully prosecuted Mr. Maina for money laundering, was not even aware of these purchases. In 2010, while Nigerian pensioners queued endlessly for unpaid benefits, Abdulrasheed Maina was quietly shopping for homes in the United States. In August in that same year, the man who was then entrusted with by the Nigerian government to clean up the corruption-ridden pension system walked into a Kentucky real estate office and bought a £215,000 house. We keep hearing these stories every day. By the way, let me introduce my guest to you. Nick Agola is joining us live. He's live in the studio with us. He surprised us with his presence and joined us. Nick, it's so good to have you join us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Maryann. I'm so happy to be here. We've been doing this thing virtually.
I know.
Today I'm in the studio live.
I know.
Yeah.
I can tell that you're excited to be here.
Yes.
It feels good to actually have you in person. So let's start with Maina, because this is a story that many would have thought that would have ended with money laundering, but it seems like an abacha loot, a gift that keeps giving. And don't forget that an arm of the NBA, somewhere in Abuja, I think, if I'm not mistaken, recognized him, even though the NBA nationally came out to say we did not support this, we did not know about it. What does this say about our country, really? We celebrate thieves now?
It's a problem. it's a major problem. Like I was telling someone yesterday, I was saying, I think Nigeria is really God's own country. Because if we're not God's own country, by now, Nigeria would have gone down. Given the volume of corruption that happens in this country, the kind of things that we hear, the money that people take from the public treasury, and this is just one of them. And the problem is that we are unable to bring people to account, hold them to account for what they are doing. And like I always say, there is no country, there's no history in the world of a country that has developed when people are not held to account. It's as simple as that. In fact, I was chatting with someone before I came into the studios, and there was a story they put forward about these NISA loans and how the people who were beneficiaries went behind and collected the monies and all of that. And he ended up by saying, is it the fault of the leaders or is it the fault of the citizens who went and flouted all of the rules that were put in place? And I replied him to say that there is no process for us citizens of Nigeria since we were born till now that requires us to put our hand on the holy book and swear that we are going to abide by the Constitution or defend the Constitution. The only people who have actually done that are the leaders. They swear by the Constitution whilst placing their hands on the holy book that they are going to defend the Constitution. When things like this are happening, the people who have sworn on oath to defend the Constitution must stand up for the Constitution. They must go after whoever is desecrating the Constitution. And if that doesn't happen, I think we should just give up that. It's not going to happen for us.
The people who recognize him under the auspices of the NBA again, don't forget that the Nigerian judiciary has been under a microscope since after the 2023 elections. And then, of course, there's still fears that the judiciary might be a cash and carry judiciary. This happened, even though, the NBA at the national level has come to say we did not recognize him. This was done by a group of people using the name of the NBA. Does this buttress the point that the judiciary has lost its place, its pride of place?
So, first and foremost, the NBA, they're a group of lawyers, and they are not on the bench, they are at the bar. So, that's not to say that we don't have any issues in the judiciary. But what is happening goes to show what is wrong with this country. We think that a profession like the legal profession is the last hope of the common man. That's a profession that they also take an oath. They swear to an oath to defend the Constitution. And their unique position also places them in a position that is like that of people who advocate for human rights, people who ensure that society is governed by the laws. And then when you see situations like that, it's very clear that either the leadership of the NBA in Abuja or some other persons, their palms have been greased. And then they come up with this macabre dance, this show of shame. It's like people don't have shame again. But what I advise them is that, you see, as of today, we're reading histories about how people participated in the Holocaust, about how people participated in the slave trade, as to, how people participated in all of the bad things that have happened in the past. And I tell people that what we are doing today, in the positions that we are, they are going to be captured in history. And in 100, 500, 1,000 years to come now, history will be written, and people will be reading it to say that you, the NBA of Abuja branch, led by Barrister so and so, ignominiously went and backed a criminal who, imagine what the kind of money he took. He took money from pensioners. Those are the most vulnerable people in our society because they have finished their useful life. They committed their useful life in service to the nation. Right now, they are not in a position to even go and work again and earn a living for themselves. So the pensioner becomes their only source of income up until they draw their last breath. And that is the money that this man went to take. Money that belongs to the most vulnerable in our society. And you, a group of lawyers, shamelessly come out in public to support something like that. History has captured your names. And in 1,000 years from now, your names will go down in the dustbin of history. People will be reading, just like if you say Adolf Hitler, there's something that comes into people's heads. Immediately it comes into their mind. That is what this NBA will come into people's mind in due course.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about our last story. And then, of course, Lagos, you can chime in. Nick Agula is with us in the studio as we look at the big three stories today on Hard Facts. My name is Maryann Okon. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this break.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
Coming up, we'll be back in a moment.
My mission is simple: to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on.
Effective relief from malaria. Comal on. Malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
Let me tell you the real thing to brag about. Brag about how authentic you are. Brag about your confidence and your vibe. Brag about your style, your energy. And yes, brag about how amazing you smell. Because there is one fragrance that gives you all of that in one bottle. Wazobia perfume.
Oh, yes, Wazobia perfume. The same perfume everybody's talking about. See, once you step in with Wazobia perfume, you don't need to talk too much. The fragrance does the talking for you. Be authentic, be confident, be classy. Treat yourself and friends to Wazobia perfume today. Available as both perfume and body spray.
Get your Wazobia perfume today at any store near you or order online for carton purchases or to stock Wazobia perfume. Please call 0201 330 0047 or email contact@wazobiacosmetics.ng. Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
From Washington to Beijing, Moscow to Abuja, London to Kigali, the world is shifting fast. Elections are shaping destinies, wars are redrawing borders, economies are rising and falling, and global alliances are being tested like never before. But what does it all mean for you?
With a new administration and a new president in the White House trying to put an end to the war.
I didn't know the historical context, what the state of Israel means for them.
Join the fearless Ireti Bakare Yusuf on Borderlines every Friday at 4 p.m. on Nigeria Info 99.3 as she dissects the biggest global events and their impact on world peace.
Those who are not familiar with Israel or the war itself would not know much about the group breaking the silence.
Borderlines on Nigeria Info every Friday at 4 p.m. The world is changing. Don't just watch, understand it. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
We bring to you the conversations that matters.
Serap has sued governors of the 36 states and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory.
The Nigeria needs this administration to treat them better than the last administration did.
The responsibility of any government around the world is to secure lives and property first.
It is a principle of fair and equitable treatment.
And most of these properties that are developing, they are empty.
You're going to just sit down here and watch all 36 governors become APC members?
Those people who are fanatics don't see anything wrong with people who they support.
If you stand for the truth, this country will move forward. But we refuse.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Conversation never stops. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We're back. It's still the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. This is Hard Facts, an abridged version for Friday. And we're looking at all the big stories for today. Most importantly, we're talking about the issue of Maina not just stopping at, taking pensioners' monies, money laundering, but then another investigative report from the Premium Times newspaper shows that he bought real estate to the tune of about $215,000. Do you know how much that is? My goodness. Anyway, the Senate has reconstituted a committee, has constituted a committee to harmonize the views, the dissenting views of legislators on the Electoral Act amendment. How long will this take so that it can be passed and INEC can borrow a lift from it? And I did play you a clip of Senator Ningi complaining about the fact that they did not get any notification about the strikes that took place in Sokoto. Let's talk about Senator Ningi, Nick. As much as Nigerians continue to say it was a good idea, the strike was great, it put a dampener on the things that the militants or the terrorists are doing, the Nigerian Senate, or some senators are saying that the federal government didn't go through due process. In fact, according to Senator Ningi, yes, those strikes should have been done from within Nigeria if there was some sort of collaboration between the US and Nigeria. What are your thoughts?
So Senator Ningi has got a point. First and foremost, Nigeria is a country that is a constitutional democracy. So we have a constitution that governs the way arrangements in this country are made, including military operations. And our constitution in section 1, subsection 2 says we're sovereignty. And being a sovereignty then means that we cannot just have foreign interference come within our borders without the necessary approvals. And of course, the constitution also creates the military branch of our security architecture. So it creates the tri-services, which is the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And it vests in them the sole responsibility for defending the territorial integrity of Nigeria. So given these robust constitutional provisions, there is nowhere in the Constitution where a provision is made for a foreign military power to actually strike any territory within Nigeria without it being a strike that has been ordered by the commander-in-chief. Again, another constitutional creation. The Constitution creates the office of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria and vests it in the president, in whoever occupies the office of the president. So, for intelligence purposes, perhaps in order not to tip off the bandits and all of that, we could say that the Nigerian government could approve a strike by a foreign military onto Nigerian territory. But once that happens, the president of Nigeria is expected to send a formal notification to the National Assembly to ratify what he has done. And from what Senator Ningi is saying, it looks like nothing of such has happened.
Yes.
So it then means that there is a breach somewhere, that the National Assembly was not carried on. The Constitution does not contemplate a strike by a foreign military on our territory without the National Assembly concurrence. There is no contemplation like that in the Constitution. So for all citizens, we thought the needful was done. As in the president, either prior or after the strikes by the U.S. military, carried the National Assembly along.
And from what the Senate president said on the floor of the Senate, it sounded more like just a few people knew about it and the rest of them didn't, because he tried to, somewhat, I don't know, maybe look like, oh, sorry, we would tell you these things cannot be discussed in public. But then if it was something that the National Assembly, especially the Senate, had to deliberate upon, it shouldn't be something that you have to have a two aside on. Everyone in the House should have been able to say, well, we were all privy to this information. How does that make us look as a country? Again, because if we're following what the Constitution says, it makes it look like our president is weak.
Yeah, it doesn't make us look good. You see, the disadvantage that we have currently is that, unlike before, when we were not living the information age, you had to physically go to a newspaper stand, buy a newspaper to be able to know what is happening either in Nigeria or somewhere else in the world. That era has gone. So as things are happening, people are actually watching it, reading it, following it globally.
In real time. Yeah.
In real time. So people are looking at us and saying, okay, we pride ourselves as a nation that is a democracy. And yet the institutions of democracy are not being allowed to operate. So it's like you buy a Mercedes-Benz or you buy a BMW and you're not driving it. Or you take it to rocks. You're trying to drive a Mercedes on a mountain. It's not meant to be there. It's meant to be on a clean road, like, here going to Lekki. That's what we're trying to do with democracy. And that's sometimes people try to blame democracy. As you know, you don't blame a Mercedes if the driver is pushing it into the Atlantic Ocean. You have to blame the driver who is misusing the Mercedes. So this is what is happening to us. The world is looking at it. They are looking at how we are conducting ourselves. In fact, for me, I am fully in support that the U.S. forces struck the bandits. Why am I in support? Because in Sokoto, where the strikes happened, the Nigerian army is got a division, the 8th division of the Nigerian army is there. They've got like 3 brigades there. And in each brigade, you have at least 2 or 3 battalions in that place. And the Nigerian government came out in the aftermath of the strike to say that we gave the intelligence to the U.S. forces. So the key question for me that has been agitating in my mind is that if we, Nigeria, had the intelligence, we knew where these bandits were, why didn't this security architecture, elaborate security architecture that we have in Sokoto State, not strike them? Why were they living peacefully with these bandits and had to wait on America? Is it that we didn't have the bullets or the guns or the bombs? What exactly happened that we had the intel, but we didn't strike them?
We didn't do anything.
Exactly.
I can hear some of my callers right now grumbling, say, well, we all have the list of these financiers and we've not done anything with it. Maybe we were waiting for the US to help us now to find the financiers.
Which is another thing.
Or publish their names.
Exactly, because that actually is the more sustainable solution. If you see water coming into a room and all you have been doing all year round is to pack the water out of the room, you are going to work all year round and you won't stop the water in the room. What you need is to go to the source of the water and switch it off. And that is what the financiers of these terrorism and banditry activities in Nigeria needs to be squarely first. Because you will see the sophistication these guys got. They have more sophisticated weapons than our own military. Who could be supplying them with that? Who is sending the armored vehicles to them?
And what borders are they coming through?
Which borders are they coming through? So these are the issues. But there's a problem in this country. So many. When I arrived at the airport, I arrived in Lagos on Wednesday, and I arrived with a colleague of mine. So we got in the vehicle that came to pick us up at the airport. As we were just trying to exit the airport, we saw like 3 trucks of customs vehicles with armed men. They were waiting there with some other official cars. And what were they waiting for? We didn't need to be told. They are waiting for a big man who was due to arrive at the airport. And I told my colleague that, can you multiply these 3 trucks times the hundreds of custom big men that they have these trucks? Those trucks should be at the borders. They shouldn't be at the airport waiting with the armed men. They should be at the borders. What makes a custom controller or controller general think that he has to carry trucks that are meant for operational duties to go and keep at the airport waiting for him?
I'm not making an excuse, but it's detail for an AIG, an IG, for the army. It can be a squad leader. We see these things happen every day, and yet we complain that we're understaffed or we have not enough manpower. to deal with these, porous borders or insecurity in general.
You have actually said what it is. Multiply what happened at that airport yesterday times all of the generals in the tri-services of Nigeria to the defense headquarters, including the generals that have retired. They have a retinue of guards for them. So at the end of the day, you now see that we don't have money. To be honest, I want to say that Nigerians are so angry with me.
Well, yeah.
But the truth of the matter is
so
that...
if we don't have money, these monies that they keep saying that these politicians have stolen, where is it coming from?
Okay, so Nigeria is like a family living in this Lagos with 20 children on minimum wage. So if you say that...
I don't believe you.
But okay, so you know that family will try to leave, but they can't leave because they simply don't have enough money to leave. And the statistics is there. You know the statistics? Like this 2026 budget, the revenue of government comes to... The revenue of government is like $25 billion. Nigeria's federal government says I'm making $25 billion. You know, Apple just released their results yesterday. In 3 months, Apple made $130 billion. Nigeria, in 1 year, $25 billion, of which the whole money might not come in. So the first problem really is that we don't have enough money. The second one is that the corruption is even eating the small one. So think about a family on minimum wage in Lagos. And then the father is now mismanaging that minimum wage. That's the situation we are in. And you just look at the government and you say, what's the government doing? Because this insecurity we're talking about is as a result of the fact that many people are not working in Nigeria. Can I give you a statistics that could shock our viewers, our listeners? Qatar, the state of Qatar, there are 3 million people there. In 2025, they generate output of $220 billion. 3 million people. We in Nigeria, 200 million people generated output of 250 billion. So 3 million people have done output that is close to what we 200 million people are doing. Why is that? Because too many people aren't working. We have graduates that are waiting at home. We have the urchins all over. We have the out-of-school children. We don't have the enabling environment for production to happen. And that is why we have lazy hands that are now working for bandits and terrorists.
You just painted a gloomy picture. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. I knew that people will come at you because they think that Nigeria is a very rich country. Our politicians are living large. They spend dollars. I hear that members, just the guy that runs the, what's it called? The Lawma in my state. It's not called Lawma in my state.
Yeah.
He spends dollars in Abuja. House of Assembly members, legislators, they live large, and you're telling us that Nigeria is poor. I'm waiting for my callers to come at you. 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nick Agula is in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. 60 seconds is all you have. Sorry about that. Do call me back if that was you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes.
My name is Ambrose.
Go ahead.
I greet your guest. The one that shocked me is I have never heard that this Islamist militants, they have armored cars and all of that. So why is the government saying they don't know where they are? I thought it was just bikes they were using. So they have all of this equipment, and we could trace Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya. You see, Nigeria is not one yet. That's my worry. These people live in the north. The governors know them. The politicians know them. And when they struck Sokoto, they were complaining. Did US have to take permission from Nigeria before they strike? Why are we going to get out of this mess? And these people, they keep on, making noise. Now they are telling us that why should INEC choose what is his name, Amupiton? Can you imagine the guts, the effrontery, the audacity of these northern people?
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. 0201-277-0993. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Miriam.
Yes.
This is Kunle calling from my papa.
Go ahead,
Please,
Kunle.
I want to ask your girls, and you and I know this. That American strike in Sokoto, I'm having this doubt whether that bomb, that $2 million bomb, really kill anybody. I want to ask you again, let's be honest. Does that bomb really kill anybody? Well, up to now, we've not heard from America, we've not heard from Nigeria to show us the video. The only video I saw going viral was a video of tanker, somebody will just bring one and show people. I don't think that they kill anybody, please. Okay. I want to be sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Kunle. Nick is from Benue State. He's not from Sokoto, but Nick, that's also one of the questions that many people have asked, including me, that where's the evidence? Which of the generals in the terrorist group did they strike? How many people did they kill? Where is the evidence? We yet to see that. Or was it just, a ceremony that Donald Trump just performed to make him look like a bad guy?
Yeah, so you are right. I haven't myself seen any pictorial evidence of bandits lying, slewn on the ground, injured and all of that. But numbers are out there in intelligence community to say anything from 150 to 155 of them were killed at a meeting that they had congregated, and that about 200 of them were injured. So that is the numbers that are out there. But the most important thing is the fact that the U.S. military have proved that these guys can actually be struck. That missiles fell in Sokoto, there's evidence. Because we could see pictures of community people, maybe they went to like leftover bits of the missiles, or even the one that did not explode and all of that. So definitely there was a strike that landed in Sokoto. And for me, it also shows that if in the 21st century where we are now, with technology and air backing us and all of that, Americans can place a naval ship in the Atlantic Ocean and send a missile with precision to go and land in Sokoto, then why wouldn't the Nigerian military do it? We expect our president to invite the military high command to his office and say, if America can strike Sokoto from the Atlantic Ocean, why are your brigade and divisions that are in that Sokoto itself living peacefully with bandits?
Well, maybe because they've not upgraded their armory. Maybe they still have...
They are taking the highest portion of the budget. Even the 2026 budget, now they have 5 trillion.
I'm not holding brief for them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying maybe, because they've complained many times that they don't have enough equipment to deal with these guys, because their own equipment are way more sophisticated than the ones that they have.
Because they are buying trucks and guns and army people who are guarding the generals and their families. You see what happened do you see what happened in Abuja? The wicked naval officer face off.
Yeah.
That is a retired general that has a full complement of guards. Those guards were there with big guns. Those are the guns that should be facing bandits and not being used for civil protection purposes. So these are the issues. And there's one thing that is happening in the military now. A lot of people may not have noticed it. This is it. Do you know that all the tri-services, Army, Navy, Air Force, they now have created civilian outfits, but they are being led by generals. For instance, you have Navy hotels, Army hotels, Navy farms, Army farms. Do you understand? And it's 2-star generals leading those organizations. Why? If the Army wants to have a farm, but to recruit a proper professional in agriculture to look after it.
Yes.
Why would you put a general who should be in the war room planning war to attack bandits and terrorists? Is that where they are spending their budget?
Nick,
you see what I'm saying?
I want to ask a very tough question, and I'm hoping that you'll be sincere enough to answer it. Do you think they were really serious about fighting terrorism in Nigeria? And I'm not just talking about the Tinubu administration, I'm talking about the whole political class in this country that call themselves leaders.
They are not serious. And you know why I say they are not serious? I am a father of 5 children. I know what it means by managing 5 children. Even when there are 2 of them, I know what it takes. You can't come to a community and seize 315 children. And you didn't take them outside Nigeria. You have placed them somewhere within Nigeria, And we have a chief of defense staff who is in the office. We have 3 service chiefs. We have GOCs and FOCs and AOCs. We have the Nigerian police. We have the civil defense. We have the defense intelligence agency, military intelligence agency. We say we don't know where 300 of our citizens are on Nigerian territory. It's impossible. Nobody can sell me that gambit.
Let me take a few more calls. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Maryann, good afternoon to you and Mr. Nitagulu.
Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
After the Christmas gift Donald Trump gave to Nigerians, there's been this consistent and constant clamor from Nigerians that America should visit us once again, quelling the insurgents and the terrorists. And you have frowned consistently at it, saying, must we always call America or the world bodies to come and fight our battles for us? What is Mr. Nick Agule's saying on that? Please, I'd like to have his thoughts on that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'll take another call and then we'll let Nick respond. Hello.
Maryann, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
My name is Robert. I'm calling you from Apapa. I greet you, Maryann. Your guest, not your. Let me not bet my girl. Your guest now. That Ningi, that senator, he said there's nowhere in the constitution that says America can strike Nigeria. Fine, but let him show me as a senator where the constitution says terrorists can be pardoned. Please, I want to see that place. And for the senator,
I don't think that it was Ningi that pardoned any terrorist.
No, wait now. He's a senator. He said America cannot strike. Did America strike Nigeria?
Has the Senate ever sat? No. Has the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria ever sat on a delegation saying that terrorists must be pardoned? Robert, where?
What is their stand on the pardon of terrorists in Nigeria now?
If they're being pardoned in certain states, that is the state houses of assemblies business, not the National Assembly.
Wait. Maryann, let me
This
drop,
is Hard
please.
Facts now. Okay. Welcome to Hard Facts. Hello? Yes, what's your name, sir? Where are you calling from? Turn off your radio. Turn off your radio.
Let me. Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes. I'm still hearing your radio. I'm going to hang up on you.
Oh, sorry, I'm out of that place. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Mr. Philip calling from Niger.
Mr. Philip, I can still hear your radio. I'm so sorry. Turn it off. Even if you walk away from it, we still hear that whole back. Please. It's very simple. Turn it off. You know that I've picked your call, so you can hear me. Hello?
Yes, I can hear. Yes, this is Kenny from Shomolu.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Maryann. I want to know, is there anywhere in the Constitution that allows Nigeria to pay lobbyists? Is it constitutional?
It's also not a crime per se for us to lobby, but I don't know if we can. It is allowed for us to pay lobbyists abroad. I don't know.
Yes,
it's not a crime per se.
Okay, yes, but look at them lobbying another country. Do you understand? It's like begging them to approve of them. So they should get serious. And then another thing I wanted to say is that these terrorists that have been killing people, did they take permission to come and kill? They should vent all their anger on neutralizing terrorists and stop chasing shadows. I don't get it.
Kenny, I don't get it either. You respond to Ms. Zoboli's question because every time, in fact, yesterday I had a hot one with someone who was saying that even this election we should just allow America to come and take charge of it, and I said to them that it's preposterous.
Okay, so my view is that it is constitutional that parents have access to their children and raise their children. That's the law. You can't take a child away from a parent. But there's a caveat. The caveat is that the parent is doing their parental duties. It gets to a point where parents fail to do their parental duties and the government actually takes the children from the parents.
Yeah, do we have those active social services here? I mean, does it work here?
Okay, so
it can work in Canada and the US.
I'm speaking about like what happens in the UK. I agree with you.
Yeah, because in Nigeria.
But I'm using it to make a point that the same government that constitutionally empowers parents to have a care of their children can take away the children from them if they fail in their parental duties. I'm applying that to Nigeria. It is constitutional that our armed forces defend us. But if the 8th division of the army is in Sokoto with 3 brigades and probably 9-10 battalions, and they are not doing it, we will accept bombs to come from somewhere and strike the people who are killing us. This is my own position about it.
Without the proper rule of law, have we become a banana republic?
No, the president. So you see,
because it looks like the president himself was in shock when this happened, or maybe he was the only one who knew about this strike, and members of the National Assembly didn't know.
True, which is what is coming out now. But for me, I always say it: if bandits seize me now, and I'm in one forest, and they put sovereignty before me or my freedom, choose between sovereignty or my freedom, I will choose my freedom to leave the forest. So if we take external support, is for the president to now do the needful by following the constitutional provision, by putting it before the National Assembly, because we in Nigeria have recently gone to Benin Republic to go and solve a problem for them.
Let's take a quick break. Let's take a 1 minute break. We'll be right back.
Talk, news, and sports after this.
With 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, one Supermalt multivitamin after breakfast every day keeps you going.
What is health? It's more than the absence of illness. It's the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But let's delve deeper. Health is the heartbeat of life. It's the rhythm that keeps us moving forward. The pulse that echoes our vitality. It's a symphony of balance and harmony, resonating in every aspect of our existence. Health is a silent conductor, orchestrating the dance between the body and mind. It's the energy that propels us towards our dreams and aspirations. It is the foundation upon which we build our futures. So, what is health to you? Join me, Kofi Bartels, this and every Thursday for Health Thursday, 8 a.m. on the Morning Crossfire as we explore important issues affecting your health. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
We're on the home stretch of our bridge version of Hard Facts. Nick Agule is still with us. Nick, because we have just about two to 3 minutes, let's talk about this electoral act that's still, being tinkered on by the Senate committee. Why do you think there's a loss of dilly-dallying?
The National Assembly is looking to be failing us, because after the 2023 elections, this National Assembly was inaugurated, I think, in June of that 2023. And they had a 4-year notice that elections will happen again in 2027. Mm-hmm. And one would have expected that by now, they would have given us a brand new electoral law, like a year ago, which would have then given INEC enough notice to put all the preparatory work in place so that INEC will now be in a position to announce a timetable for the election as mandated by the Electoral Act itself, which is to say they must provide that timetable 360 days to the next election. And that is going to be in February. So the National Assembly should just get on with this business. They are already late. And if this National Assembly...
The month is already over. If
this National Assembly allows this Electoral Act not to be passed before the constitutional deadline to issue electoral timetable, I, Nick Agule, will personally lead a movement in Nigeria to recall all the 109 senators of Nigeria, because we don't need them again. If they can't give us an electoral law, then what are they doing there? Look at the amount of time they spend talking about sexual harassment. That's the time they should have been doing an electoral law for us. Because let's just forget it. If we don't have free and fair elections in Nigeria, We should forget about governance. Because politicians, not only in Nigeria, politicians all over the world, they fear the citizens because of the ballot. And that is why they can't do anyhow. Because they know that the citizens will punish them at the ballot. The ballot is the only place where we have powers over the politicians. And once that power goes, we're sitting ducks.
Well, Nick, I'll hold you to it. I want to say thank you for coming on the show. That's all the time we have. We've got to go. At the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, Ireti Bakare Yusuf will be here with Borderlines. There's a lot to talk about on the international scene. My name is Maryann Okon. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO, or better still, just search for me. Nick, thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you very much. And I've taken a tour of the whole studios here. There's a lot happening here.
Yes, thank you
for
coming.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Lagos.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.